ladies and gentlemen. 11:15 p.m. Sunday, December 29th. The last Sunday of the decade, the last Sunday of 2019, the last Sunday of an undefeated team in ESPN's Word on the Street NBA Fantasy League. That's right, it finally happened. Team Boulder Highway Eloteros took down the Juggernaut, took down the current undisputed king of our fantasy league, yours truly. Like I said, I didn't think I would continue to be undefeated for the whole season, but I did secretly, internally, try to get to 10-0. I don't know why, but 10-0 was my benchmark. And now I've not reached that, and I have Team Boulder Highway Eloteros to thank for that. And I look forward to our next meeting. And grind don't stop. On to the next one. Humble in defeat. Congratulations, Boulder Highway Eloteros. Good for you. Enjoy this victory. Prepare for your next challenge. Also, the second thing, we had a stat correction happen throughout the week, at some point during the week, which actually changes our last week's close call between Los Hijos de Black Mamba and Team Duran, Eggy, Team Duran Blue. If you remember last week, they had a 1 point close call margin, which was 622 to 621. With the stat correction that happened, I don't know where it happened, I don't know when it happened. I tried to look for it, but I couldn't find it. They actually tied. So they were actually tied at 621 points, which actually erases whoever had the loss last week between the two and adjusts it for a tie, which will actually change, and not change, but alter the standings going forward. And we'll cover that later on in the video, because it gives each team one less loss in actuality. So it can be used as a tiebreaker going forward. So we'll see where everybody stands later in the video when we cover the standings. So the close call this week actually goes to Los Paleteros, taking down Los Hijos de Black Mamba, handing them a loss this week. Final score 638 to 624. So 14-point margin there. Was a close call this week. We actually had a few scores that were pretty close. A couple different teams that kind of ended up a little bit closer than I actually thought it was going to be. But I think it just means that a lot of you guys are actually taking some of the tips and hints and using them and applying them to your teams going forward. So congratulations to the victors this week. The biggest margin, unfortunately, goes to Boulder Highway Eloteros, 152 points, beating Los Más Buscados, handing them their first loss of the season by a total score of 897 to 745, which also gives Team Boulder Highway Eloteros, pains me to say this, the highest point total for this week with 897. Now, Los Tigres beat Team Duran Beto, by a final margin of 614 to 533, giving Team Duran Beto the lowest point total for the week at 533 points. MLK Ball gets the W this week, beating Team Duran Blue, by a final score of 633 to 539. Okay, so all the scores being said, everybody landing where they're landing. And again, we're halfway through the season. It's the end of 2019, the 2019 chapter in our season. So 2020 coming up, new decade. The other half of the season still to be played. New opportunities for everybody going forward, adjusting your lineups, staying on top of your team, Remember, you have 7 acquisitions and drops that you can do, 7 alterations you can do to your team per week. That's just alterations. That's just alterations in picking up and dropping players, swapping players that are free agents to your squad. So use them wisely. But, have fun going forward. So new standings after this catastrophic 2019 closeout. Just kidding. Here we go. New standings. In the East, we have Black Mamba, 5-4-1. Team Paleteros. Team Paleteros is having a comeback right now. They're on a tear. They're now 5-5, second place in the East. MLK Ball gets another W, tying up also with Los Paleteros at 5-5. And Team Duran Eggy loses yet again, unfortunately. But because he didn't technically lose last week or win last week or whatever, he is actually at 2-7-1. In the West, Los Más Buscados, unfortunately, no longer undefeated, fall to 9-1. Boulder Highway Eloteros inching closer and closer, now having a win streak of 5 in a row. They improved to 8-2. Los Tigres, 3-7, snapping a 4-game losing streak. The Team Duran Beto, unfortunately, losing streak now stands at 5 in a row, falling to 2-8. So there you have it, guys. Like I said, stay after it. Keep adjusting your lineups. Take a moment to wish you all a very happy and very safe new year. You guys be careful out there. You saw some of the crazy news this week. Crazy car accidents and things like that going forward. New Year's is a crazy time. People are drinking, people are partying, people aren't paying attention, being reckless, endangering other people's lives. So please be careful. Please take the time to spend it wisely with the people nearest and dearest to you. Enjoy yourselves, but be responsible, be safe. If you're drinking, don't drive home. Get a ride, get an Uber. And if you're not drinking and you see somebody who is, and you can, give them a helping hand, get them home safe, make sure they get home safe. Just, everybody be careful out there and enjoy the new year. Hopefully it's a very prosperous and very good new year. Until next week, do me the favor and keep your ears open for the word on the streets.